Good morning, bedheads. Click. Yes, we're a bunch of fartners, you and I. So, fartners is fart plus partner. Couples that fart together stay together. Click. So, I found this at a mug shop and I thought it was funny for my husband and I, but actually, I think it's funnier for you and I. Will you be my fartner? Will you fart together so we stay together? All right. Coffee with Karen. Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. We've got stuff to talk about and not stuff going on in the outer world. We are going to be talking about stuff going on in the inner world. My favorite topic. So I think it's really interesting because the message from our spirit guides, because I asked our spirit guides for a collective message today, as I always do, for Coffee with Karen, using the pendulum map and a pendulum. Okay. So, where they can spell out words, but they pretty much spelled out like the thing I woke up thinking today. So it's like my energy. And in fact, while they were spelling it out, they did a why are you message, which if you've been around the channel, you know that we've been getting those, like, why are you asking us questions? And before they spelt the fourth, why are you, whatever it is, I actually said it in my head, which it could be a lot of things, but I actually said what they were going to say. So I thought that was interesting. And some people might think, oh, I projected that, or, the answer to that would be no. The answer to that is my spirit guides and I were communicating. And so it wasn't that I had this thought and then it got spelled out on the board. Okay. Some people might believe that I don't, just with the energy that I'm working with. So, and I can tell. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna talk about their message. We've got a Rumi message. This is a deck they wanted me to use today, so this is a fun one. And we're gonna talk about what the April messages were using the pendulum for April 2025, because I'd like to take a look at that because we're almost at the end of April, and I'd like to take a look at what did they tell us, and are we doing the things that they recommended? Okay. If you're new, welcome. I do have a Start Here playlist that I'll post right there at the end of this video. But each month now, I ask our spirit teams collectively if they have a message for the upcoming month. And in I've only been doing this a couple months, but for March, they had 9 messages. And for April, they had 8. And so what I do is record separate videos at the beginning of each month that kind of unpacks or decodes those messages. And so we do a little bit of that, which is, I really enjoy that process. It's quite fun. We decode them using oracle cards. So then they give us more messages. And so actually talking about the subject line of I don't know. First of all, everybody calm down. We all need to calm down. We all need to relax. We all need to just, let's be fartners. What's really interesting is I haven't reminded folks because I heard about what the astrological situation is right now, and I'm not an astrologer and I didn't take notes on this. So I've got to just give you the big picture flavor, which is my MO. If you don't like the big picture flavor around here, then I will not work well for you. Okay. If you need specifics. But astrologically, probably for the next, I want to say I heard this like 4 days ago, and it was for 9 days. What day is it today? I lose track. So it's Thursday. So it actually may only be for a couple more days. Hey, Faye, if you're around, can you post how many more days we're in this aggressive time period? So yeah, we were warned, and I did mention it when I first heard it 9 days ago or 7 days ago or whatever, that for the next 9 days, because of the way the planets are aligned, that we would be in a period of time where we were there was a lot of aggression coming out. And it's really interesting because you could see it in people's comments. You could see it in people's comments. It's like, whoa, okay. But I'm getting clearer and clearer, at least for now. So if you're new to this channel, this is I'm going with my intuition, and I've been doing that from the very beginning. I go with the flow of what my guides are guiding me to do, what they're guiding me to talk about. So right now, I've been very guided to talk about inner work. Okay. So those of you who've been around, you know that I've been kind of talking about that and doing a lot of my own inner work. We're calling it's shadow work, but I'm calling it sacred shadows. We're doing that in the spirit circle, which is the membership for the channel. But I'm now bringing, it's going to be fun, actually. I'm really looking forward. I'm looking forward to creating what this could look like for this community and for myself. But we're going to be doing what originally I was calling 30-day challenges. However, I decided to change the word challenge. I think I am, going to reserve the right to change it again. Because just this morning I woke up and I was like, oh, maybe we'll call it a 30-day transformation. Doesn't that sound really good? 30-day transformation. And so I just got the journal that I'm working on, which I'm thrilled. It says not for sale, but so I'm just redoing, I got it, and it's going to be color on the inside. Isn't it pretty? It's kind of cool. It's different wood. And anyway, so I'm working on like how to change this into a 30-day transformation journal. And it's just going to be like a writing journal with some prompts and stuff. But, and I'm designing, I had these because I want to use them myself, but, I'll let you know when those are ready. Sign up for the newsletter right here. That's how you'll know. Sign up for the newsletter. Yeah, so 30-day transformation, because I'm really excited to do every 30 days a new transformation, 30-day transformation. I always want to say challenge, but it doesn't have to be a challenge. We don't need to use the word challenge. So every day we'll do a new 30-day transformation. And whatever comes to my intuition, which is usually based on things you guys are talking about or something that's going on collectively that we need to be looking inside. Or it could be, I could ask the spirit guides collectively, what do you guys want us to do for a transformation this month? Okay. So what we're going to do starting May 1st, and all you need is a journal. All you need is a journal. Okay. Or a notebook or a piece of paper. Doesn't matter. Well, you'll need like 90 pieces of paper. So, because we're going to do 3 pages. So what we're going to do the first month, okay, for transformation is the concept from the Artist's Way. Okay, so morning pages that comes from this book. Okay. I just got this. I mean, I've had this book. I just got it because I wanted to it was like a set. I wanted to get her journal that came with it. So, because this is huge. Oh, I wonder how many days. This would be more than 30 days, but I wanted to get it just to get inspired. And somehow I lost my Artist's Way copy. So I got another one. So we're going to do 30 days of the concept of morning pages. Okay. Starting May 1st. Now, when I say concept, it means if you can't do it in the morning, do it anytime during the day, because maybe not everybody can do it in the morning. It is really best in the morning, like first thing. But if you don't know what morning pages is and you don't have this book, one, you could look it up. You could Google it. 2, I will go into detail in the newsletter. Okay. In fact, like I'll announce here in the channel what each transformation is going to be every 30 days. But I'm going to put the detail in the newsletter just because it's easier. And then everybody here doesn't have to listen to me. Okay. If they're not interested. Okay. So, and even like how we're going to communicate throughout the 30 days, like what's the support that's going to happen. This first month's going to be super, super basic. And then as we go on, I'm sure I'll build on it because I'll get new ideas. And, you always got to start slow. Okay. So, I really think, first of all, besides the astrological stuff that's bringing a lot of stuff up in people, or it's allowing people to express it a little bit more. And you could tell. I went out to, not only that, but I went out to dinner last night with some friends, and she was telling me that her 4-year-old they were at their little, I don't know, it was preschool or something that she was at yesterday. And she said the kids were nuts. Like, she's like, oh my God, I've never seen it like that before. Like they were having just temper tantrums, like all over the place. And she's like, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So, and then I said, well, I don't know if you guys, I said to my friends, I don't know if you're into astrology, but I'm wondering if it has anything to do with that. So I wish I would have been like telling you guys every morning, just reminding myself and reminding you, because this is a good period of time to like shuddy. No typing comments, no, starting arguments with your partners. But the interesting thing is what I've learned, what I continue to learn, especially there's a couple things going on. The more shadow work I do, the more personal growth, inner work, which is just clearing inner work, how I'm basically describing it. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. Okay. I just have life experience, and doing a lot of the spiritual work. So the spiritual work is, I think, what I'm learning for myself, and everybody's going to have different experience. So you take what resonates with you and then leave like ideas for other people in the comments. Okay. Is the spiritual work needs to start with the inner work. I think the spiritual work all is inner work, but we need to clear, or at least not necessarily clear, but recognize our shadows. So our shadows need to come. So what I've learned about shadow work from doing it for the last month, the shadows are in your unconscious. They're things that have happened to you, things that are repressed, because we all repress things when there's too much to manage as human beings, especially as little kids. You're like, I don't know how to I got to compartmentalize this. It's going down. Okay. It's how we deal with stuff. Okay. And so there's those things that are floating around in us that we don't even know. That is what triggers us. And I'm going to talk about the word trigger in a minute. When you're triggered, it could be, well, one, it could be somebody who's just being an a-hole. You can be triggered by someone who is just being an a-hole. Okay. There is just that. But two, you could also look at someone who is being an a-hole if you weren't triggered and be like, oh, you're being an a-hole, and not even feel it. Okay. So there's like, if you feel it, the person who's being an a-hole, then there's something inside of you that is coming up to be recognized. Okay. So what I think is very interesting about this time period, especially what's going on globally and with F45, and, he's bringing up so much of this stuff. And then what's happening over these 9 days with people being triggered by stuff. Okay. Or people leaving a lot of comments, not just on my channel. I'm noticing it like everywhere. Okay. That, things are being brought up for you to look at. Okay. And I think what happens if we're not looking at them is that you take them out on other people, which is what we most are, and I'm going to put myself right in the same category, because up until a month ago, there were a lot of shadows that were repressed for me. And now they're not. Like within a month, actually it's only been 3 weeks Well, we're doing our last set of exercises today. So I've got 20, and I'm going to keep going. I just bought a couple more. I just bought a couple more shadow. There's so many different shadow books. Sorry, I'm off camera now. Let me grab this. This is the one we're using right now in the Spirit Circle, but I just got this one, the Shadow Work Experience for Beginners, because when I'm done with this one, even though we're not going to continue doing it specifically in the Spirit Circle, I'm moving on to this one, because boy, oh boy, am I feeling good. And I'll tell you, especially like I can look at people leaving comments now and be like, okay, they've got some stuff coming up in them. Then you can look at it and say, okay, what part of that is me? Like what part of that was something I wasn't careful about saying? And then what part of that is them? So it's not like I'm not going to take responsibility for anything, but you know what I mean? Like I'm just talking, let's not even talk about the channel. Let's talk about just our interactions with other people. But if you're just always reacting, which would be the same, reacting would be the same word as triggered, you know? And let's just say reacting in like you react because you felt it, okay? Then there is according to shadow work, according to Carl Jung, that there is something in you that needs to be recognized. For once, just it needs to come up, it needs to be recognized. Once you see it, then you're like, oh, okay. And then you really work on the spiritual work of like, oh, okay, why is this? And why is that coming up? And what happened to me that, and how do I reconcile that? Okay, so then there's more work to be done from there, right? So this is like the peeling of the onion thing. But it's really important. Well, everybody's going to do what they want to do, The one thing for me is I'm super excited about it because then I can go through life the last part of my life. I can go through life now calmer, not overreacting to things, seeing things from a different perspective, or just honestly just calmer, just like happy, like not overreacting. It makes so much sense to me to recognize these things. The thing is you got to create the time for it, and that's the tricky part. I would have done this a long time ago if I had created the time for it. And so that's why I want to bring it. That's why we brought it to the Spirit Circle, and that's why I want to bring it to the public community now through the transformations, the 30-day transformations. Okay. So yeah. So everybody breathe, which is exactly, so let's go into the SG's message. And then I do want to look at their messages from April. Okay. Okay. Cause I can hear people. This is what they said. This is the pendulum message today. So why are you angry? Why are you angry? Okay. So I can hear people right now in the comments. Well, I'm angry because I'm afraid there's so much going, they're treating people like crap. They're doing, this and that. No. Why are you feeling that though? Why is that coming up in you? Okay. Now I said, why are you asking? And they said, just breathe. But, so over the last week or so, a lot of the pendulum messages, I did a couple days ago, maybe last week, I did a coffee with Karen where I kind of went over the big picture of their pendulum messages over the last couple months. So I'm not going to repeat that, but so last week, why are you worried? Why are you doubting? Why are you waiting? Then they said, then we got then we got trust yourself. Then we got, then we got a little giving us some hope. So they really went to focus on us, okay? They turned the tables because a lot of the messages had been outside of us about what's going on in the US government, okay? And I really think, and if I could ask, I would ask them with, I could ask them with the dowsing rods, but my intuition, and when I look at the big picture, is saying, we're going to give you hope, but you need to start looking inward. You need to start looking inward. And who are we to argue with the spirit guides? We are not. We are not here to argue with them. And we're here asking them questions. So if we're going to ask, you know how people, you'll say, have you ever said, why did you ask me if you're not going to listen to what I have to say? And just because somebody asks you and maybe they didn't resonate with what you said, so that's one thing. But if I'm going to ask the spirit guides, I'm certainly going to consider what they're saying, right? So all those times they said, why are you worried? Why are you doubting? Why are you waiting? It was love God, trust God. You are not alone. Then they gave us 3 days. Oh no, trust yourself. And then how? I said how, and they said inner work. Okay. Trust God again. Then they gave us 2 days, 3 days of F45 going down. So they gave us a little bit of hope again. So then they're like, okay, we can feel. So it's really interesting because I'm getting the sense that their messages are kind of riding the wave, of whatever the collective humanity consciousness is. That's kind of my sense. So yesterday, or on the 21st, they said, nice guys finish last. And then they said, move your butt. But then they said, "Why?" The next day, why are you living this way? You are not trapped. Okay. Where did I not do the 23rd? So I don't think I put yesterday's message down. I got to put yesterday's message down. I got it sitting over here somewhere. And that one had to do with F45 going down too, didn't it? So it's really interesting. They're going back and forth between societal messages, like giving us some hope, reminding us, almost like you don't need to focus on it. Don't worry, he's going down. Okay. But then they keep coming back to, why are you, us, me, angry? Okay. So they're not looking for us to say, I don't believe, you can interpret this the way you want, but I don't believe they are looking for us right now to say, well, I'm angry because, and listing all the things outside of you that you're angry about. Okay. I think they're looking for us to say, no, really, why are you angry? What is going on in you? What's flaring up and why is it flaring up? What is it about when you see injustice? Why does that ruffle your feathers when you see injustice? And you can logically say, well, that's a dumb question, No, but why? Why? What has happened to you in your lifetime where you were not treated well? That's what they really want us to look at. That's what I think anyway. So you'll have to let me know what you think. So this is really where we're going to be focusing more and more, kind of floating back and forth, like we kind of have been anyways, floating back and forth between what's going on in the world, but using what's going on. I think I've been doing that, like just not consciously though. Like I've been using what's going on in the world as a conversation to get us to on the spiritual path. Me too. Like I didn't even realize I was doing that. Like, cause I'm, it's like I've been helping myself by having conversations with you, look at what's going on in the world because it is so obnoxious, to then come back and say, okay, what are we doing? What are we, my brother-in-law just said he's shorting Tesla again. So that's cool. Oh God. I haven't unshorted. I have $500 shorting it just for fun, just because morally I just wanted to short his company. It's rather than going out and protesting in front. That's what I did. But I mean, the fact that people are even buying is crazy. But anyways, that was a squirrel moment. Squirrel. I got a text popped up on my computer. So, yeah, so I can see now as I've been just running this community, like facilitating this community from like day to day, no plans, just wake up and like, what is my intuition telling me to do today? And I can see now that that's, I needed to honor my feelings about what was going on externally, but the more messages we keep getting about the internal work, then now I'm being encouraged to do that. I'm doing it. I'm finding the time to do it. And so then I can see that's how we're going to heal humanity, actually. I think we're going to heal humanity by the more internal work we do, because we can't stay angry. Yes, there is righteous anger, of course, there is. So yeah, it's a little challenging for me as a facilitator, and especially when there's new people coming in every day. There are people who have been here for the last 5 months, which the channel is about 5 months old. Let's see, November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months old. So it's a little challenging for me because this isn't like a report on just what's going on today type of thing. That's sort of been a progression. And so it's a little challenging for me to help people catch up to where we have been as a community when new people come in. But I want people to come in and feel like they get kind of what's going on here. But I don't know how to help. I'll have to think about that. It'll probably be newsletter, actually. It's probably going to be in the newsletter because I can at least go back to the beginning a little bit. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. So anyone who joins the newsletter, if you want to kind of know, I'll do like I just did an introduction to me. So people who don't even know me, I did that first email. There'll be a couple emails of just introducing you to the community. That's how I'll have to rely on it. So, okay. Because I'm not one to keep going back and keep going back and keep going back. It's just not in my nature to want to keep revisiting and re-explaining and all those kind of things. So, all right. I did want to talk about, before we do the Rumi card, I did want to look at the April messages. And you know what? The April messages you're going to find are exactly what we were just talking about. Okay. So here are all the April messages. And then what I did during like one video this month, we decoded two messages, or message 1 and message 2. Then in another video, we decoded message 3 and message 4 using oracle cards that they wanted us to use. Okay, so I have my deck of oracle cards. And again, I'm going to explain all that in an email series. So then people in the beginning can just grab it and then they'll know what we're talking about if they want to. All right, so the first one. So there's 8 messages. I'm going to go over 6 of them. 2 of them were somewhat political. So I'm going to go over 6 of them had to do with internal work for this month. Okay. So the first one was just stay calm. Okay. Just stay calm. All right. And maybe that one particularly was about things that are going on, things that are going on, not only outside, but also astrologically. There, especially in the beginning of April, we had the double Mercury. Didn't we have a Mercury retrograde from 2 different planets? So then I'll just tell you all 8 messages and then we'll go through some of them. So just stay calm. Message number 2 is Jack is coming. They were referring to Jack Smith. So again, you might have to go back and watch those videos for more detail about that. Number 3 was unrest will happen, which we decoded during that video, that unrest was about internal. Unrest will happen. I immediately made the assumption when they told me that was going to be external. Okay. And it might be a little bit, there is unrest. And things are starting to amp up, which is amazing and really good. It needs to, I think. But what we decoded was it was internal. Okay. So unrest, right? Which we are experiencing over these 9 day period, this 9 day period right now. Okay. So 4 was trust you're supported by God. 5 was might wake up. I actually crossed it off and wrote will wake up, but they said might wake up. Number 6 was leave it behind. That's the only one I haven't decoded for. I was going to go in and do, maybe I'll do that tonight or tomorrow or next week. Okay, so leave it behind. I wanted to do a video on just grabbing more oracle messages and giving, what do we want to leave behind, and so we each look at that. Okay, so leave it behind. 7 was job coming, J-O-B. And I did look that up. I didn't write it down what J-O-B meant. So I'm not going to look it up right now. You can go back to that video. I can't remember what it was. And I forgot to write that, like specifically what J-O-B meant because it wasn't important to me. I wrote down what the cards told us. Okay. And then number 8 was keep your light. Keep your light. Okay. So if you think about, again, where they're trying to lead us to is calmness, recognizing that there's unrest in us. So what they said about that, some of the cards that I pulled, let's see, hunt. Okay, so this was a message from the cards. Hunt for your fears and find them. Hunt for your fears and find them. And I wrote down shadow work next to it. And then have a plan or strategy in place. I'm looking at some of the wording is from the cards. Stepping up more fully in your power. Inner peace. So the result, I wrote down the result of shadow work based on those cards was stepping up more fully in your power, inner peace that comes with being divinely yourself. Divinely yourself. So if you're divine, if you really truly can clear, this is what I'm seeing now, and I'm not saying I'm even close to doing this yet. I can see myself getting there. And this may be where the people who come into the community and say, hold the light, just be love and light, they may already be there. They may have done all of the shadow work. They may have been, and they're sitting in the love and light and they know how to do it. They're like, yeah, that's why they're recommending it. The only thing is we can't just sit in love and light if we are feeling that unrest. If we're feeling it, that's why we got to look at it, But the result could be from doing that inner work, stepping up more fully in your power, inner peace. Okay, those can be the result of it. I mean, it is amazing the things that people are triggered by. There is one woman who made a comment, a woman or man, I'm not sure. And I'm glad people made the comments they did because it helped me see what's going on, to have this conversation. But there's a person who's even triggered by the word triggered. I mean, if you're triggered by the word triggered because maybe it's overused or whatever, okay? And I don't know that it's overused. It's just a word that makes sense in this conversation, right? But if we're triggered by, like somebody the other day, I used the shit shield mug and she's like, you using the shit shield. And I'm sorry if this is you, but you gave me a great example. Hopefully you can hear it with love and look inside yourself a little bit. Cause I'm looking at my side myself, that's for sure. But the person had commented and said, using the term shit shield is inappropriate. And I'm like, by who? Like whose rule is that? It's just so funny, like the things that we're saying to each other. Like, no, I can use the word shit shield if I want to. Shit shield. I got my shit shield up. I can do that. And it's just so interesting that whatever I say or anybody says to any of, and I'm again looking at myself, people say shit all the time. That bugs me. So I got to look at that, right? Got to look at that. So I'm not saying it's just one-way street here. But we've got to, I'm just going to, for now on, just anytime I'm going to, for myself, when I see comments, and I'm going to ask Marcia and my nephews who are working on the comments. Every time we see somebody that's triggered, I'm going to say, the comment's going to be back is please look inside as to why this triggered you. That will be really annoying, but it's so true. It's like every time I'm starting to see it, like we just have to, every time somebody annoys us, we have to look at why we're annoyed. That's really the question. Why are you annoyed? And so please, in the community, if somebody writes something that clearly is that they are annoyed, write back to them and say, please look inside yourself. We need to do that, So, because whatever somebody is doing to annoy us has nothing to do with them. And we are going to do a 30-day transformation on not taking things personally. And that we'll be looking at, that will really be helpful, So, okay, so let's see. Trust you're supported by God. So some of the messages that came up then were heal anger, clear physical and energetic toxins. The result of that will be to stay grounded. The path that's, the path that scares the path that scares me the most is the one I need to take. Yeah, the path okay. That's interesting because I just put that quote in here. I added a page here. And I think I just put that in there from something else. Like the path that scares me the most is the path I need to take or something like that. So keep that, like write that down. That's an interesting, the path that scares me the most is the path I need to take. The thing that angers me the most is the thing I need to look at, is the thing I need to look at, the thing that is annoying me today is the thing I need to look at. Maybe that's like the mantra, Let's see. So next message was might wake up. Number 5, might wake up. Know and trust that things will come to you in perfect order and perfect time. In the middle of a storm and people will wake up. We're in the middle of a storm and people are waking up. This will not last forever was one of the messages. Might be people trying to prevent people from waking up. That was a message. That was interesting. A lost loved one watches over you. That's cool. So waking up to that. Leave it behind. Some of the messages we got for leave it behind was ask for help. Being weighed down by too many responsibilities. Definitely, we are all really weighed down by the societal responsibilities right now, right? Is how are we reacting to societal responsibilities? I hadn't thought of it like that before. Doubts, hesitations, limiting beliefs. This is all leave it behind. These are the things that they encouraged us through the cards to leave behind. Doubts, hesitations, limiting beliefs, limitations, fears of judgment. And then keep your light, cherish the overflow of emotions and embrace the times that seem murky, for your inner floodplains are being replenished. Oh, that's so sweet. It is. So cherish the overflow of emotions and embrace the times that seem murky, for your inner floodplains are being replenished. And as a result, there will be great spiritual expansion. So really, like, I think that's what I was saying is that if we can do some of the inner work and look at what's triggering us, why we're reacting to certain things, why we're so angry, why we're worried right now, not from a societal perspective, but why, like everything that's making you worried, look at it inside. Okay. Then you'll really be able to go on more spiritual expansion, then you'll really start to listen to because your vibration's going to rise. your vibration's going to rise because you're clearing out some of that darker energy, that heavier energy. Let's just say heavier energy. This is all entertaining new ideas, by the way. I'm not an expert in this. This is all entertainment. Entertaining. Okay. Keep your light. A message was a shift is coming. The time is now. Don't hesitate. Face your fears. Do it anyways. Whatever you've been struggling with is about to be resolved. Cool. You're being asked to open your heart to another. And then we got a message. We are galactic starseeds blooming. We are galactic starseeds blooming. Adapt to the new. Magic is in everyday things. You can make something from nothing. From small things, big things might grow. Begin it. From small things, big things might grow. Begin it. So those were the messages. Just to kind of recap where we're at. So I think it's going to be really fun, especially what we'll do. I'll have to somehow eventually, I won't be able to do it for May, but as we work on these 30-day transformations, I'll help us connect the messages that our spirit guides are giving us for that month as well. And then maybe, do some kind of connection between the two. I won't be able to do that for next month, but just because, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Stuff will come up throughout the month, I'm sure. Okay. Let's do a quick card. I think we've got enough messages for today, right? Do we need more? Do we need more messages for today? I'll just do this because I said I asked what card deck they wanted me to use. So, all right. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel so it is also of the highest and purest light. Amen. And protect this community. I like to add that too. Okay, so again, this is Rumi Oracle from Alana Fairchild. And let's see. Okay, so I'm going to ask for them to give us one message, but we'll see what happens. Okay, can you guys please tap into all of the spirit teams? Oh, yep. Okay, I got one. Before I even asked. Let's just see if that's the one. Dowsing rods. All right. So I was going to ask them to tap into all the spirit teams to give us a message collectively. So is this a collective message for anyone who's going to be watching this now and in the future? Yes. Okay. Is this the message you want us to have? The card in front of me? Yes. Are there any others in the deck you want me to pull? No. Okay. Perfect. All right. So let's take a look. Oh, cool image. Let love transform. Let love transform, which is actually really perfect because if you think about, let's just think about how you've had any kind of reactions over the last couple of days. If there's been reactions from anger or fear or annoyance, let love transform that. Let love transform that. Because I'll tell you, you'll stop being so annoyed. It really does. It really amazingly works. I don't know that it's going to be a one and done thing. Like I have a feeling once we start this process, we kind of need to keep moving on it, but we can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing in the community together. What number is that? Oh, 14, by the way. That's a 14. So that's a 5. We've been getting a lot of 5s lately. Okay. Yeah, so I can see that we will be, going deeper and deeper into the spiritual work. So it'll be amazing. The community, or at least how I facilitate the community, is not going to stay the same. I can guarantee that. And so that might be hard for some people. I'm sure people will drop off, more people will come in, different people will come in. And I want to feel that freedom because I want to go on that spiritual journey and take anybody with me who wants to go. But I can imagine a year from now that these conversations are going to look really different. So it's really, I'm totally excited about it. Okay, so let love transform. So this is the Rumi quote with this, okay? The spring of love arrives to transform the dust into a garden. The call is heard from the heavens to bid the wings of soul to fly. The sea becomes filled with pearls. The dry land receives the water of life. The stone becomes a ruby, and the body becomes all soul. Wow. Very cool. So love is medicine, intelligent medicine. It takes death and makes it it takes death and makes it a passageway into greater life. What genius is this? A genius that will render anything and everything as a pathway to life. I have found a bench upon which we may be seated. Nah, not a bench, a love seat. Well, a love seat. I'm sitting on a sort of a love seat. It is carved by precious ruby. It sits under the gentle shade of an ancient tree that thrives in love's garden. Come sit with me, beloved, as we let the whispers of the great beloved, and that is in all caps, great beloved, penetrate our hallowed ears, carried upon the sweet afternoon breeze. As the sun begins to set, the colors become vibrant. As the sun begins to set, the colors become vibrant. Even if we are deaf to the beloved's tender whispers, we shall not be blind. We shall be captured by the vivid display of the beloved's artistry and be transported into peace. What? So that's the first time I've ever really just read that full quote, and I think I'm going to sit there with that one. I think I'm going to sit with that one. Cool image, huh? How does that make you feel? Let me know if that resonates with you, if you can see anything we've talked about today inside this image. That would be kind of interesting to think about. All right. I think I talked about, I'm really ungrounded this week. It's crazy. I have a feeling that more inner work we do, the less grounding we're going to feel. So we might have to figure out ways to ground ourselves to continue staying on Earth. I just feel really ungrounded this week. So I'm just like, flighty, a little bit more flighty than normal. Okay, Fartners, have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next video. Click.